As promised, we have the Big Deke News trade deadline special show. The trade deadline is fast approaching for the NFL. November 1st is the final day where a team can wheel and deal, and the Steelers are being thrown out there on the interwebs as a team that could possibly be a buyer or a seller, or perhaps even both, when that day comes. So for this episode, I'm going to bring up names that are on the Steelers' current roster and also names from around the league that are being linked to Steelers trade rumors, and then I'll give my take and my reaction to them. First, we'll go with players on the Steelers. This presumes that the team will be sellers at the trade deadline. Chase Claypool. His name is getting brought up constantly. The rumors have been relentless. The Vikings have been an additional team that have been thrown in the mix for Claypool. And the requirement seems to be at least a second-round pick for the Steelers to even consider it. But the fact still remains that it doesn't really look like they're trying to trade him, and what they're asking for will be a ransom. So I'm still guessing he's not going to be traded, nor do I want him to be traded, because I still go back to I want Kenny Pickett and this offense to have the most amount of resources that we possibly can for the second half of this season. So I'm saying no again to a Claypool trade. Next name is Mason Rudolph. There's been several articles mentioning him, but one of them is CBS. Sure, I mean, this has been a rumor that's been discussed all the way back to the offseason, since Mason is firmly the QB3 on this Steelers roster and has kind of been in a purgatory. I'm not too gung-ho about trading him just for nothing, like a really late round pick, because I think it's still more worth it to keep him on the roster. But if the price is right, sure. But what about another quarterback? The guy that actually started the season for the Steelers, Mitch Trubisky. Never really considered this one, but if a quarterback-needy team like the Colts want to offer us something like a second rounder for Mitch, we'd be stupid not to take it. Hell, a third rounder is even enticing. You gotta think, we obviously already handed over the keys to the franchise to KP8, so Mitch's value right now to the team is stepping in case Pickett gets hurt like he did in the Bucs game. And we got to, again, give a major salute to Mitch for that performance right there. But also being a mentor to Pickett and, talking him up on the sidelines or in the locker room. Essentially, if everything goes according to plan, Mitch isn't seeing the field. It's going to be Pickett the rest of the way. So I'm thinking there could be greater value in receiving something like a second or third round pick than just having Mitch on the bench and being that backup in case that we need him. Because if Mitch is traded, we could just have Mason step in and be QB2 and fill that void. Now, it would be a little bit of a downgrade, but again, I think it's worth the risk considering we'd be getting a high draft pick like a second or third rounder. If it's anything higher than that, like a fourth rounder, I don't know. I think I'd rather keep Mitch on the roster. But it is something to think about. Again, if someone is willing to offer us something like a second or third round pick, I'd say sure, why not? The last name being floated out there, Terrell Edmunds. This one comes from Joe Tanzi on Bleach Report. Simple answer, fuck no. We're trying to re-sign Terrell Edmunds this offseason. He's playing really good for us. We want him and Minka to be the safety tandem for the next 4 or 5 years. So no. Moving on now, though, to across the league and some names that are being associated with the Steelers. First name is William Jackson III, cornerback for the Washington Commanders. Now, the Steelers really liked him coming out of college. We would have drafted him if he was still on the board, but he went just before us and we ended up selecting Artie Burns. The problem is that was a long time ago. Jackson is now 30 and his contract is not too appeasing. There's $13+ million left on the cap hit for next year. So the Steelers would be mortgaging a little bit of their future in this trade as well. And are we even sure that he's better than the starting 3 cornerbacks that we have? So I'm going to say pass. Next, Jerry Hughes, Houston Texans outside linebacker. Now, I do like the concept of bringing in an additional edge rusher to add to the group, a guy that's a veteran and also talented, but at this stage of the game, I don't know where Hughes would really fit in. We already have Malik Reed to be our third guy, and TJ Watt is coming back very soon. I get the idea of, man, what if another injury happens to TJ Watt? But if that happens, we're fucked anyway. I don't know if Jerry Hughes is coming to save the day at this point in his career. He's 35 years old. So I don't really think this is one we got to worry about. Wouldn't be opposed to it if we gave up like a 7th round or anything, but I don't think this is something we really got to go out of our way for. Now, these last 2 I haven't really seen around the internet as potential trade targets. These are ones I'm making up. I'm throwing them out there because these are deals that I would want done. First is Carolina Panthers cornerback J.C. Horn. I don't know if Horn is even on the trade block right now, but this is a deal I would 100% approve of the Steelers doing. Kind of reminiscent of the 2019 deal where Steelers traded a first rounder for a former first round defensive back on a bottom feeding team. Again, don't know if Horn's available, but this could be the lockdown franchise cornerback the Steelers have been looking for pretty much since Ike Taylor. Joe Hayden stepped in, but this was in the middle of his career. If we could get a dude in his second year, he could be the franchise for the next 10. The other name I'm thinking, now I've seen him in trade rumors, not specifically linked to the Steelers. How about J.J. Watt? I'm going to be honest, I don't really think this is a move we have to make right now. Goes back to all the reasons I brought up for Jerry Hughes, but something to think about this offseason. I'm just throwing it out. Big Deke news. You heard it here first. J.J. Watt, think of it. Going back to 2020, there were all the rumors. Are the Watt brothers going to unite here in Pittsburgh? Is it J.J. Watt and T.J. Watt's time? Didn't happen because J.J. was still looking for a decent contract, and that's what he got with the Cardinals. But this is 2 years later. This Steelers defense is T.J. Watt's. He's the guy. He already won his depoy. J.J. Watt is 2 years older. He could be the perfect third edge rush guy because also Alex Highsmith is established here too. So the role of being a third guy could fit perfectly with where J.J. Watt is at this stage in his career. And, I mean, is he really looking for that much money? Wouldn't just the experience of him playing with his brother, potentially brothers if we re-sign Derek Watt, be cool enough? And he's talked about wanting to do that. So something to think about going forward. JJ's been floated out there in trade rumors, but I don't think the Steelers are going to do anything now. I don't even know if he's going to get traded from the Cardinals, but something to think about this offseason. But I hope you guys enjoyed this edition of Big Deke News. Let me know what you guys think about some of these trade deadline rumors or any just trade deadline targets you think the Steelers should be looking for. I'm guessing the team is going to be pretty silent. I don't think they're going to be trading Claypool. I don't think they're going to be trading Mason or Mitch. That's my guess. I just don't think the deals are going to be good enough in what they're looking for. Now, could they make a little trade, like trade a 6th or 7th round pick to get an extra depth piece? Maybe. I'm still not even counting on that either. I think they believe in the guys that they got in-house and are willing to roll with them for the second half of the season. So again, hope you enjoyed. Stay chilling. Enjoy your Halloween. Peace.